Ever feel like you're drowning in a sea of marketing tools trying to keep your business running smoothly? What if you could simplify it all with one platform? That's where Go High Level comes in, your all-in-one sales and marketing solution built for small businesses like you. In fact, Go High Level has over 1 million users just like you. With Go High Level, you can capture leads, automate your prospect and client journeys, quickly and efficiently build stunning websites, sales pages, and sales funnels. Imagine managing your CRM, email, SMS, and funnels without duct taping a dozen tools together. Plus, their unlimited plan lets you add as many contacts and users as you need, no hidden fees. We've been using Go High Level for over a year now and absolutely love it. In fact, Profit First Nation is also powered by Go High Level. Ready to level up? Start your Profit First Nation extended 30-day free trial today at www.gohighlevel.com/Profit First Nation. That's www.gohighlevel.com/Profit First Nation. Streamline your workflow, impress your clients, and grow smarter, not harder.
Welcome to Profit First Nation, the official podcast for entrepreneurs who are operating their businesses in the zone of permanent profitability. I'm Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First, and now here's your Profit First Nation guide, Daniel Mulvey.
Welcome back to Profit First Nation, my entrepreneurial friends. Today is an episode ending in 5, so that means we have our fan favorite, Ann Grigg, the Chief Profit First Guide for Profit First Professionals. Welcome back to the podcast, Ann.
Thanks, Danielle. Always happy to be here.
Well, today's episode title is When in Doubt, Add an Account. Profit First, basic Profit First starts with those 5 key core accounts. You've got your income account, profit, owner's pay, tax, and operating expenses at your primary bank. And then we have the tax hold and the profit hold account at your inconvenient bank. So that is how you get Profit First going. But then after you get Profit First going, and depending upon how your business is growing and scaling and what your total revenues are and such, and the complexities that then become the fun part of the business, then you start adding additional accounts. So let's dive in, Ann, to kind of like what are the most not the most profitable, but the common accounts. And why don't we start with the drip account being as that additional advanced account?
Yeah, definitely. A drip account's a huge benefit to businesses that take either deposits or have seasonality. So, we're coming into the winter now. You're kind of thinking a little bit about if you're a lawn care, landscaping company, maybe you don't do snow removal, or maybe you live in a part of the country where there is no snow, like I do in Oklahoma. Or, maybe you have an outside-based company like power washing or roofing or anything like that, where you're making most of your money during a certain time of year. And that means that there is a time of the year that things typically get a little bit tight. Well, you can use a drip account to stabilize your cash flow. So when things are coming in, if the money's rolling in, you're really good, you've got this excess in your accounts, move that excess over into your drip account. And then that helps you stabilize during your slower months, your cash flow a little bit. So you can drip it, hence the term drip account, drip it into your income account as you need it. Another good use for that is if you take retainers. So like if you're in construction or website design or anything like that, if you're an attorney, you take a retainer up front for a longer term project or longer term goal, then you divide that amount that you've put into your drip account over however many months that engagement's going to last. And then you just drip it out. So it keeps you from that feast and famine cycle that we see a lot. When you first started Profit First and you were eating everything off of one big plate, one big account, and then you divided it up, but now you still have this one big account. It divides up that OpEx a little bit better.
And so how do you keep track? Like, so let's say you take retainers. So you'll have a drip account. So when that income comes in, that actually gets swept to the drip account, and it sits in the drip account. And let's say you're managing 3 or 4 retainers in there. And then walk us through how to manage, 3 to 4 retainers all going into one drip account, and then what happens and exactly the how-to on your allocation day, what you do to pull from that drip account and where you put it. Obviously, no, but you go ahead.
Yeah. So this is one of the very few times in Profit First that we actually recommend using a spreadsheet. It's just a lot to track all of those retainers that you're dripping out without a spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be a complex spreadsheet. In fact, we have a template that we can share with you on that spreadsheet. But then it's almost like you've got an extra income account. And what I mean by that is on the 10th and the 25th, or whatever your allocation days are, you're going to go to your drip account, and you're going to move whatever your amount is on that spreadsheet into your income account. And from there, you just do your allocations as normal. So it's almost like a pre-income account, if you will. And it's exactly what it is. I mean, if we're talking accounting terms, we're talking about unearned revenue at this point. So you haven't earned it yet. It's pre-revenue. It's not income yet. Well, now it is once you move it into your income account.
So, this is where sometimes and again, like, we're getting more complicated and such, and we're getting into advanced Profit First. So the bigger your business, the more you've got in real revenue and total sales, that's where Profit First is really brilliant and genius, because it gives such clarity to, all of the moving parts of your business and where the money's coming in and how it's going out and such. So, as a point of reference for us, we bring money into a deposit account, and we do things from the deposit account. So we don't have a drip account, but if we had a drip account like that, it would come from the deposit account into, if it was a retainer, it would go into the drip account. And then we move all the other money out of the deposit account to where it needs to go. And then what's kind of left then gets swept or moved into our income account. And then from the income account is where we then do our Profit First allocations from. So, if you're depositing everything into your income account and you have a drip account, you're just going to have to pull that money out of the income account to the drip account, or have a deposit account where just all the money comes in, and then you do things with it and such.
Yeah, it's whatever is going to work for your business structure and your business setup. I'm going to say there's probably not a wrong way to use the drip account if you're using it to stabilize your cash flow, unless you go and rate it and then think I'll pay myself back later, because we all know it work, right? But yeah, it is. It's advanced Profit First. It's one of those great accounts that's perfect for a larger business. There's that misconception out there that a large business doesn't need Profit First. And I'm going to say a large business actually needs Profit First more than even a small business does, just for that clarity about cash.
Yeah. And like, the drip account still should be a checking account, because you're limited on the number of transactions with a savings account. And so all of your Profit First accounts at your primary bank, the accounts that are kind of really, running the business and such, should be checking accounts. Your hold accounts, your profit hold and your tax hold accounts, can be savings accounts at your inconvenient bank. But it really is just easier to just have the checking accounts at your primary bank, including for the drip account, is a checking account.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even now with interest rates being a little bit better, it doesn't take going over your number of transfers out of your savings account more than once to just completely wipe out, plus some, any interest that you may have earned. And then, we don't want to do that. So just keep it simple. Yeah, you could earn a few cents of interest, but keep it simple on yourself. It's not worth it. Make it checking accounts, make it easy to get to that money, because this is the liquid part of your money. This is not the money that you want to make it super hard to get to.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So why should some businesses add a payroll account to their Profit First accounts?
So I don't know a business owner out there that hasn't run into the situation of kind of forgetting that payroll's coming up. I don't want to say that they've forgotten, but it's not top of mind. And they're looking at their OPEX account, even if they're using Profit First, they're looking at their OPEX account. Now, I have $30,000 and there's a sale on something I need for my business. I'm going to go pay $30,000 for this. And then the bookkeeper or payroll clerk's like, so we got payroll coming up in 3 days and there's no money there for payroll. You have to have a payroll account. You have to protect your payroll as much as you protect your owner's comp, because you can get into some pretty serious trouble with your labor board in your state if payday comes around and you don't have the cash to make your payroll. So absolutely have that payroll account. It also kind of helps you stay on track with payroll bloat. So if you're allocating to a payroll account regularly, you're going to know right away if you're overstaffed. Payday comes around and it's getting kind of tight, or you don't have enough money and it's because revenues are down. Well, you've been allocating percentage wise, and it might be time to make some staffing adjustments in your company.
That's an excellent point, and a little sidebar here, because you do have to protect owners' pay. And so, you should not be necessarily paying employees at the expense of not paying yourself. Like Billy Ann is pointing out here, you're overloaded with employees. You have employee or payroll bloat when you can't afford to pay all of your employees, and or you can't afford to pay yourself. And you are the MVP. You are the most important employee in the business, whether it's working on the business or working in the business. So that is a great kind of like point of clarity too, when you're looking and seeing, are you able to, consistently have the right kind of balance in your payroll account to cover payroll. And just as an added note, when you allocate to owner's pay, you still allocate to owner's pay, even if you take a paycheck. You allocate to owner's pay, and then you sweep from owner's pay to the payroll account, and then your payroll company pulls out of the payroll account. So, we have the allocation day calculator at profitfirstnation.com, and we'll have the resources Billy Ann mentioned, the drip spreadsheet to help you manage that. We'll also put our basic and advanced allocation day calculators there for you, and it reminds you to do that secondary sweep from owner's pay to your payroll account. All right. So then, I think another big expense that just kind of gets lost when you have one account and you see you have money there is marketing, right? So would marketing be I'm sure you have so many stories about marketing expenses and how that can really just kill a company. I mean, I've seen businesses spend more in marketing than they do in bringing in revenue, let alone all the other expenses they have. So why don't you take away marketing here and talk about it?
The problem with marketing a lot of times is not tracking the ROI on it. So, people are like, okay, well, my revenue is down or it's not where I need it to be, so I need to go do some marketing. And marketing is a broad term, and there are so many companies out there that want your marketing dollars, and they're very, very good salespeople. And they convince you that, okay, this is where I need to spend my marketing money. And you're going to get a, 3x, 10x, whatever return on this investment. Well, that all sounds great, but if you're not tracking it, then you don't know what kind of return on investment you're getting at all. And one example that I get is, or that I use a lot, is I had a client who his marketing expenses or advertising expenses were just completely insane. And I started looking at them. I said, Yellow Pages, like as in the phone book? And he said, well, yeah, I have to have a phone book listing. I have to have this big ad in the Yellow Pages. And I said, why how many people come to you from the Yellow Pages? Well, I don't know, but the phone company says, or the marketing people say that I have to have a Yellow Pages ad. No, unless you can justify it. So some industries have actually KPIs around marketing expenses. And if you're a franchisor, then your franchisees probably have a certain amount that they're supposed to, like under contract, spend on marketing. have a marketing account. It protects you from overspending. It protects you from, over committing your marketing funds. It really makes you a little bit more likely to track your ROI, because if you know that you're only putting, let's say, 5% of your operating expenses to marketing, well, that's a limited number of dollars. So you have to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck. And then that just compels you to track it a little bit closer. So marketing is, it's one of those things that it's that adage, right? You have to spend money to make money, and marketing tends to be where that happens most often. So protect yourself from yourself, set up a marketing account. If it doesn't look like it's enough money, start getting creative about your marketing, and then just make sure that you are tracking the return on every marketing dollar that you spend.
And, for our Profit First Nation podcast super fans, the metric that we say that you should be getting a return on your marketing dollars is a 6x to 10x return on your marketing dollars. If you're just doubling your marketing dollars, you're not getting ahead. Yeah. If you're 3xing it, again, not enough. You need to challenge yourself to get a 6x. If you're getting 3x, 4x, it's not enough. You need to find something different, something better, something that will give you that 6x to 10x return. And again, having that clarity of what you have to spend, and then being able to see, what kind of return you get on that really, really makes a difference. And, it's scary and shocking, like especially Google AdWords and things like that. I've seen businesses where, we kind of start peeling back the layers, and they have spent, no joke, $35,000 on Google and have no idea if they got any business from it or not. And it's just like,
yeah, pay-per-click.
What?
You go to Google and you Google something, and the top 3 to 6 things that pop up are sponsored. So if I really like the company, I'll actually scroll down a little bit further and not click on their sponsored link. I'm like, okay, I'll save you a few cents on your pay-per-clicks. Not everybody's going to do that. Most of us are in a hurry. Yeah, most of us are in a hurry, and we're just going to click the top one. So yeah, just make sure that you're tracking that. If you're using Google Analytics, just kind of picking on Google in particular, you can easily track what your return is, but it doesn't even have to be anything that sophisticated. If you have a retail store and you've done some advertising, just ask your customers that come through the door, hey, how'd you hear about us? How'd you hear about this deal? How'd you hear about this product? Whatever. And they'll tell you. And you might be surprised that maybe your biggest marketing source is your other customers. So it could be that a customer loyalty program is what you need, or a referral program or something like that. So when in doubt, open an account for sure. But when in doubt about your marketing, your customers, how'd you find out about us?
Oh my gosh, that is so incredibly important, and definitely the number one thing to track when it comes to just asking that simple question of every single customer, because again, it'll surprise you. Like it doesn't matter what you think; it matters what the reality is. So you've got to ingrain that in your salespeople and anyone having contact with your customers. All right, let's talk about another kind of when in doubt, add an account. When you have large annual expenses. So for example, in our construction materials supply business, we have a very large premium for general liability insurance. And so we allocate, we call it our GL account, but it's our general liability premium. And so we're allocating there to each allocation day. And then when our premium comes due, we've got the money to pay our premium in full. Let's give some other examples of that kind of annual expense, or things that could be additional accounts.
Yeah, definitely. Insurance is a great one. Subscriptions. So if you are software heavy, working as I do with accountants, I know tax software, it's no joke. TurboTax might be pretty inexpensive, but if you're doing a number of returns, you're paying thousands and sometimes tens of thousands of dollars a year for those subscriptions. So software subscriptions, and really any subscription in your business, software as a service, that will give you a discount for paying annually versus paying monthly. Mm. So it doesn't even really have to be the huge things that you're thinking of. Those are the easy ones, but think of like your scheduling software that might be $30 a month if you pay for it monthly. But if you pay for it a year at a time, then, it's only $20 a month, or you essentially get 2 months free or something like that. Just add up all of those different subscriptions that you have, divide it by your number of allocation days that you have in a year, usually 24. Sometimes it's more. Sometimes people are allocating weekly. So if you're allocating weekly, it'd be 52. And then move that money into your annual renewal account, whatever you call it, your subscriptions, annual renewals, whatever it is. Not only will it save you money, it will save you stress come time to make those large payments. It'll keep it off your credit cards, because that's what a lot of people go to. It's like, oh my gosh, this is due and I don't have all the cash sitting in my account, but I do have this credit card with an available balance on it. So I'm going to save the money by putting it on my credit card, and let me know how that works for you, because within a month, you've eaten up your savings on interest charges.
And to a certain degree, it's a little painful when you start to make this transition, because it's almost like you're double paying to a certain degree. Because if you're paying monthly, obviously you have that as an operating expense and such, but you're wanting to sort of allocate and start building that cushion in that subscriptions account as well. So then when that's built up, and you go to pay the annual, now you have the money to pay the annual. So you wouldn't be servicing it from that subscription account. If you would be servicing it the month to month until you can get to the annual out of your operating expense account. Does that make sense?
Right.
I mean, that's how we do it. So
yeah, and lower the bar. I mean, just like with all things, profit first, start small. If you're paying for a subscription monthly and you can't make that additional allocation to your subscriptions account, okay, maybe make half of it or a quarter of it or something, and step into it a little bit. So you might not be able in year one of your profit first implementation to pay all of your subscriptions annually by the end of the year, but maybe you can pay half of them annually. And then the second year, then you pay the other half, and you have all of your subscriptions on an annual renewal at that point.
Exactly. That's totally perfect. Any other ideas come to mind? Oh, well, yeah, you go and then I go.
One that we haven't talked about that it seems like it's kind of a no-brainer, but I don't want to assume that it is sales tax. If you collect sales tax in your business, you absolutely have to have a sales tax account. That money is not yours. It was never yours. It will never be yours. I am going to say keep it simple on yourself and just allocate whatever your sales tax rate is. And I mean, I can hear it now, but not all of my sales are taxable, or, well, if I'm doing that, then I'm including the sales tax. Fine. You can true it up once a month, once a quarter, however often you pay your sales tax. I would rather you over allocate to your sales tax account and then have money that, surprise, you can move back either into your income account and allocate, or just put it straight to your profit account or your vault. That's even better because you've already learned how to live without that money. Than to have sales tax come around and just like with payroll, say, oh, oops, I forgot that I had sales tax due in 3 days. And I just went out and bought something for my business that I didn't necessarily need, but it was on sale.
So a couple of other accounts that we have would be for education and memberships. Mm-hmm. All right. I know we are like information junkies if you are a fan of Mike Michalowicz and this podcast, and we just love to consume. And we tend to sign up for this, sign up for that, just feed our brain, feed our knowledge and such. But again, that can get out of control, and those expenses mean that you reduce your profitability. So, again, a smart idea to, create the size plate that you want and allocate a percentage towards, the investment that you're going to make in yourself annually. And now you know what you have to spend, and, you need to work up to getting enough money into that account before you, sign up for that next course or that next membership event and such. So that's another great one. Because again, when you do that kind of thing, it needs to produce a return on the investment of not only the expense, but your time that you put into that. And so don't sign up for courses that you're not going to do, right? That's not a good use of your money. And then, this is kind of embarrassing, but I just blanked out on the second idea.
Well, travel. I mean, kind of in line with, Was that it?
Yes, thank you.
I mean, with education, if you like to go to conferences, and look, the world's open again. So yeah, let's go to our conferences that we've missed for a few years. That travel gets expensive. In fact, it's a lot more expensive now than it was 3 years ago. So set up a travel account so you can go to those conferences. For your education. That's a really big one. And something that if you're joining something like a mastermind group that has an in-person component, you really do need a travel account to offset that additional expense.
And, we use the travel account for our salespeople. So we have a salespeople travel account and such. So we're allocating to that too. And, when that's when that account's building up, that's sort of like a trigger too of like, hey, have you visited the clients in Sacramento lately? It's a kind of an easy extra way for me to cross my T and dot my I's to make sure that our salespeople are staying top of mind and getting out in front of clients, and they know that they have the budget, they have the ability and the funds to be doing that. Because I mean, I always joke, when they're out in the field, we make sales. When they're in the office, not much excitement happens. So I'm trying to get them out and about. Okay, great. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for, again, all your brilliance and wisdom, Billy Ann. And again, we've got some resources associated with this episode, and you can get that at profitfirstnation.com/155. And if you would like to work with a certified Profit First professional accountant, bookkeeper, or coach, then you can go to profitfirstnation.com/contact, or you can go to the Profit First Professional website, which is, help me out.
It's profitfirstprofessionals.com. Yeah. So
okay,
we keep it easy. There it is. Yeah. Profitfirstprofessionals.com. Just make sure that you are clicking on find a Profit First professional, unless you're an accountant, bookkeeper, or a financial coach and you want to become one, in which case click the orange button instead.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And cheers to another profitable day, my entrepreneurial friends.
Thanks for tuning in to the Profit First Nation podcast. We hope you found today's episode valuable and that it's inspired you to take action towards achieving permanent profitability in your business. If you want to learn more about how to implement Profit First in your business and connect with a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, be sure to visit us at profitfirstnation.com to download our how-to guides and resources. Remember, permanent profitability is within your reach, and we're here to support you every step of the way. So let's do Profit First right together.
Profit First Nation website related podcasts and videos are provided for general information purposes only and do not constitute accounting, legal, tax, or other professional advice. Visitors should not act upon the content or information found here without first seeking appropriate advice from an accountant, financial planner, lawyer, or other professional.
Hey, this is Ro. And if you're a business owner struggling with hiring or just tired of doing it yourself, I highly recommend the Build Your Dream Team Secret Podcast series. There are 7 episodes packed with real stories from founders who've cracked the code on hiring, built high-performing teams, and finally got out of the day-to-day grind. My favorite part? It's not fluff. It's systems, strategy, and results. Text DREAM to 55444. That's DREAM to 55444 to check it out. You'll thank me later.